morning, everyone. Welcome to the March 20, 2017 agenda session, South Plainfield Mayor and Council. This meeting has been advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, with adequate notice of this meeting being provided to the borough's two official newspapers and also published on the borough's website. Amy, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, Councilman Benjavanga.
Here.
Councilman Dean.
Here.
Councilwoman Faustini.
Here.
Councilman Vett.
Here.
Councilman Bullock.
Here.
Council President White.
Here.
Thank you. Can you take us through a review of tonight's agenda, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this evening, the agenda shows 2 matters on for executive session. However, we need to add one more matter, which will be entitled legal for tax appeal for EQR of South Plainfield, block 25.01, block 1. The other matters on are legal pertaining to judicial and personnel matter regarding the tax assessor zoning officer. We have approval of council minutes for March 6th, and we also have the addition of executive session minutes for February 21st, 2017. We have 4 proclamations on this evening. There are 2 ordinances on this evening. Both are second reading by title. One is a bond ordinance that provides for the resurfacing of various roads. The other is an ordinance to establish a cat bank. There are 14 resolutions on this evening. 4 matters correspondence. Payment bills totaling $194,851.33. Council reports, and we conclude with public comments. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Council comments on agenda items.
Yes, Mayor. Please separate Resolution 17-144.
Mr. Rizzo, do we need a motion to add February 21st, 2017 minutes to the agenda, or can we just do that?
We can just do that.
We can just do it.
All that.
Yes. Any other council comments on agenda items? Okay, can I get a move? I'm going to do that. Yes, right now. For once I follow the agenda. All right, guys. Can I get a motion for executive session, Resolution 17-132, personnel tax assessor, zoning officer, legal traditions, and legal tax appeal?
So, second.
Motion by Councilman Benjavanga, seconded by Council President White. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will have executive session tonight. At this point, I'll open up for public comments on agenda items only. Seeing none, close the public portion. At this point, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn tonight's agenda meeting.
So moved.
We are adjourned, seeing no reason to delay the right to the public meeting. Again, this meeting has been advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, with adequate notice of this meeting being provided to the borough's 2 official newspapers and also published on the borough's website. Amy, will you call the roll once more?
Councilman Benjavanga.
Here.
Councilman Dean.
Here.
Councilwoman Faustini.
Here.
Councilman Vett.
Here.
Councilman Bullock.
Here.
Council President White.
Here. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Councilman Dean.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, please look over the safety of our police, fire, and rescue personnel and keep the residents of South Plainfield safe. Amen.
So once again, we'll open up for public comments on agenda items only. Seeing none, close the public portion. Can I get a motion to approve the council minutes, February 21st, 2017, executive, March 6th, 2017, agenda, public and executive?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Motion by Council President White, seconded by Councilman Wolk. Amy, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga.
Yes.
Councilman Dean.
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini.
Yes.
Councilman Vett.
Yes.
Councilman Bullock.
Yes.
Council President White.
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
I have a couple of proclamations tonight. The first will be Child Abuse Prevention Month, April 2017. Whereas preventing child abuse and neglect is a community problem that depends on the involvement among people throughout the community. And whereas child abuse and neglect often occur when people find themselves in stressful situations without community resources and don't know how to cope. And whereas incidences of child abuse and neglect can be reduced by making sure all families have the support they need and deserve to raise their children in a healthy environment. Whereas it is recognized that no person can do everything, but that everyone can do something, and together we can create change for the better. And whereas effective preventive programs succeed because of partnership among nonprofit organizations, government agencies, volunteer organizations, schools, service clubs, houses of worship, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. And whereas display a pinwheel or planting a pinwheel garden in April will serve as a positive reminder that all children deserve great childhoods, happy, healthy, and safe. Now therefore, I, Matthew P. Nash, Mayor of the Borough of South Plainfield, do hereby proclaim April 2017 as Child Abuse Prevention Month and call upon all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, and businesses to engage in activities that strengthen families and communities, and to provide the optimal environment for children to learn, grow, and thrive so that all children have the benefit of happy, healthy, and safe childhoods. It's also National Poison Prevention Week. Whereas Congress designated the third full week in March to be National Poison Prevention Week in 1961, and since then, this week has helped raise national awareness of the dangers of potentially poisonous medicines, household chemicals, and other substances. And whereas poison centers across the country will focus the public's attention on identifying poisoning hazards at home, as well as learning ways to prevent poisoning emergencies. And whereas drug overdose deaths, including prescription pain medicines and heroin, remain at epidemic proportions for both New Jersey and the United States. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the majority of drug overdose deaths, more than 6 out of 10, involve an opioid. And whereas a poison is defined as anything that is taken in the wrong amount, in the wrong way, or by the wrong person, and whereas every poisoning is preventable, from the youngest to the oldest, all people eating pets are at risk. And whereas although the majority of reported poison exposures involve children 5 years old and younger, the majority of poisoning deaths occur in adults aged 20 to 59. And whereas consumers must be aware that e-cigarette devices, hookah pipes, and liquid nicotine may contain very high doses of nicotine in enticing colors, aromas, and flavors, increasing the likelihood that small children and pets will focus their attention on them. These products pose serious health and risk of poisoning. And whereas poisoning experts urge residents to use our services as a resource for poisoning and drug information instead of consulting the internet for information that may not be accurate. And whereas the use of poison centers services serve residents both time and money, most cases are managed in the convenience of the caller's home, requiring no hospital visit. Now, therefore, I, Matthew P. Nash, Mayor of the Borough of South Plainfield, do hereby proclaim the week of March 19th through 25th, 2017 as National Poison Prevention Week in South Plainfield, and encourage all citizens to pledge their commitment in continuing and ensuring the safety of themselves, their families, and the community. Is anyone here to accept the National Poison Prevention Week? I don't think so. No.
Child abuse prevention.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go back to child abuse prevention. We can come up here.
Suburban Women's Club? I thought they were doing that. I thought you guys were, you were here for Women's Month as well? I thought you guys were for Women's. Happens.
Okay, Grace, I saw that.
What'd you do?
Take a look out.
You want to, or is, oh, one more.
Let me take one.
Thanks.
You guys want to address
I know,
the
see, I let him know. Okay. You got it.
Why didn't you get that picture with us?
Huh?
You should have gotten me with that.
Well, I couldn't take your picture if I got in. It's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. Thanks.
Nancy Taylor.
All right. If you want, can,
Yes.
I want to go back up again.
She should have been in the picture.
It's okay. It's okay.
Take one of you?
All right, go ahead.
I'm taking a little.
No, then.
This gets me off,
I'm okay.
the hook. Are you? Oh, you're not coming up?
Grace, come on.
Come up, Grace.
No, because then she'll just
Grace, you know what, I don't have I agree, Grace. You've only got so many steps left on those feet after you get a
I doesn't bother.
I don't know. Okay, we're gonna try again. Okay, good.
You guys are all set with the donations?
Thank you so much.
You're all set with the donations?
Right?
I have to go into the women's history. Women's history. Then who's here for poison?
Okay. So Women's History Month, and whereas women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of the community, our state, and the nation in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. And whereas women's history is an opportunity for us to recognize the influence that women have made to our nation and to honor those who have blazed trails for women's empowerment and equality. And whereas the history of American women is an expansive story of outstanding individuals who sacrificed much and worked hard in pursuit of a better world, where peace, dignity, and opportunity can reign. And whereas women of strength, vision, and character have long influenced our country by contributing their time, efforts, and wisdom in vastly diverse ways to improve and enhance our government, our communities, our schools and religious institutions, our businesses, and the military, and the arts and sciences. Now therefore I, Matthew Pianesh, Mayor of the Borough of South Plainfield, do hereby call upon all the people in the Borough of South Plainfield to observe Women's History Month with appropriate ceremonies and activities, and to remember throughout the year the many contributions of American women. So I know there are a bunch who are coming up to accept this, so you can join me at the front.
One photo. Does that work? And we're in green. Let's get her photo.
See you soon. Kate.
Okay, and last Monday at the Taste of South Plainfield, the Business Association and myself honored, and Council President White, Chairs Economic Development, honored several businesses. I think it went from
23.
23 businesses.
Yep.
Years in service through 30 through about 100. And so I guess we had a couple of businesses that were not able to make it. Life Tech is one of them. They are not able to be here today, but Pinto Brothers is. And so we have a proclamation celebrating that, and like I said, we did give those out to all the businesses at the Taste. Whereas it's been established that small businesses provide many new jobs and than any other sector of the economy, and the greatest of our communities attributed to these small businesses, which provide the basic elements of our free enterprise system. And whereas Pinto Brothers is one of the oldest family-owned businesses in the tri-state area, and has worked hard in our community to provide quality service, which invokes the confidence of their consumers. And whereas Pinto Brothers celebrates over 40 years of continuous service in the Borough of South Plainfield, now therefore I, Matthew Pianesh, Mayor of the Borough of South Plainfield, deem it an honor and pleasure on behalf of the Borough Council and community of the Borough of South Plainfield to extend our best wishes and appreciation to Pinto Brothers for serving the citizens of South Plainfield for over 40 years. So I know Andy, congratulations.
Huh? Oh, forever.
Thank you that you could come this evening.
Guess it keeps me young. I'm sure though.
I'm sorry.
Doesn't want to take his hat off, huh?
Oh, you forgot? We get an invitation.
You got the letter. You got the letter.
You got the letter, just keep going.
That's okay.
It's okay, you get special recognition.
That's right.
Sorry. Wait, now, hold on, I want to take.
Thank you, guys. Congratulations. Best wishes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. For final adoption, ordinance 2007-74.
Ordinance providing for resurfacing of various roads in and by the borough of South Plainfield in the county of Middlesex, state of New Jersey, appropriating $1.3 million, therefore and authorizing the issuance of $900,000 sponsored notes of the borough to finance part of the cost thereof.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for final adoption on ordinance 2074?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Faustini, seconded by Council President White. As this is for final adoption, I'll open it up for public comments on ordinance 2074. Seeing none, close the public portion. Council comments regarding ordinance 2074. Seeing none, Amy, can you call the roll?
Yes, Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Vetch?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President White?
Yes.
Yes, it's 6-0.
Thank you. Also for final adoption, ordinance 2075.
Calendar year 2017, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget cost of living allowance and to establish a cap bank with the COLA when the COLA is equal to or less than 2% pursuant to NJSA 48:4-45.14.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for final adoption of ordinance 2075?
Make a motion. Second.
Motion by Councilman Wolock, seconded by Councilman Benjavanga. As this is also for final adoption, I'll open it up to public comments. Seeing none, close public portion. Council comments regarding ordinance 2075? Seeing none, Amy, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Vetch?
Abstain.
And Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President White?
Yes.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 17-144? Okay. Motion by Councilman Benjavanga,
Second?
seconded by Councilwoman Faustini. Amy, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Recused because they're a direct competitor of my employer.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Vetch?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President White?
Recuse for the same reason as Councilman Benjavanga.
Passes 4-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 17-133 to 143, 145, and 46?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Motion by Council President White, seconded by Councilman Benjavanga. Amy, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Vetch?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President White?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. We have 4 items of correspondence. Planning Board minutes for January 24, 2017, Zoning Board minutes of February 7th, Environmental Commission minutes January 11th, and the Environmental Commission monthly report for February. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Council President White, seconded by Councilman Wolock. Amy, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Vetch?
Yes.
Councilman Wu?
Yes.
Council President White?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. On payment of the bills for $194,851.33. Can I get a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Motion by Council President White, seconded by Councilman Benjavanga. Amy, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fostini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President White?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Counselor, anything for us tonight? You like that one, right? Counselor? Administrator Cullen.
Yes, Mayor. We've set the dates for, I guess, the first two budget hearings.
Okay.
They're scheduled for Monday, April 10th at 5 o'clock here at Borough Hall, then again on the 12th at the library at 5 p.m. also. And then we're going to look and see if we need to add any more meetings. The actual public hearing on the municipal budget, these are the departmental meetings.
Right.
The actual public hearing on the municipal budget isn't until May 1st. So we have plenty of time to go through, to further out that process. And we're weeding it down right now with department heads. We've made some adjustments since the original introduction. We've had a couple of pluses, a couple of minuses, and nothing at all significant since introduction. Wanted to thank Mr. Miller here and the chief and everybody, and Amy, everybody that was involved in the blizzard last week between preparing for what turned out not being the school board referendum vote, but that combined with the residents and even you, Mayor, with a lot of our nixle alerts. I think the town did a pretty good job in having the streets clean. I just want to thank everyone from Public Works, Police, Fire, OEM, Rescue. I think everybody did a really good job, and including Mayor, yourself, and Ann with a lot of the nixle alerts. So I just want to thank everyone. With that,
Thank you, sir. And you mentioned the blizzard and the budget in the same update. Any impact that you're seeing from the cleanup costs or anything?
Yeah, there may be some adjustments in regards to the. I expect an increase to our snow budget from what was introduced, but I don't think it'll be.
It's not pushing the total figures or anything like
Well, I think they'll be up. So I don't know what the definition of push is, but
that. Significant.
I don't think it will not be significant.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Miller.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, just one thing. We received the bids last week for the recycling collection, and what we're going to do is we're going to meet with the county tomorrow and actually see exactly what their costs would be compared to this, and then we'll get back to you with a recommendation. It seems like we can probably save money by going with the county. So
Good.
hopefully we're looking forward to offset some of the snow removal costs.
Maybe you can.
And that would most likely be on for the next meeting.
Okay.
We're meeting with Middlesex County tomorrow morning.
Anything else?
That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Antonides.
I just want to report that, as most know by now, the special school election was indeed postponed due to the snowstorm and is rescheduled to next Tuesday, March 28th. Polls are open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Councilman Dean.
Yes, Mayor, just a few things. I was meeting with Alice the other day, and she asked me about getting some cameras down at, I guess, Bell Highland Ave Reserve. I don't know if that's something maybe we could put in with Len, that was looking at getting cameras down to DPW. Apparently, they've had some suspicious activity going on down there, and our cameras aren't working, so.
At the nature reserve. We
Yeah.
actually did meet with that, and it would be covered under her Clean Communities Grant.
There was a
Yeah, but she said one, I guess, I think way back when Jim Fran looked at a couple of campers and some of them had water damage, so.
Correct.
Some of the cameras, from what she remembers, they said they were still good, but I think it's the whole thing of the Wi-Fi connection or just the remote access type thing, I think is what she's, saying that what's the problem is with it really offhand.
Okay.
So that, again, yeah, with the DPW, excellent job, I think, between the subcontractors, the county, the town, everything all together. Being in the snow business myself, I think a lot of people would agree that pushing 2 feet of powdered snow would be a lot easier than pushing 8 inches of snow, then mixed with sleet and rain and everything else. So you get all kinds of breakdowns and all this other fun stuff that happens with it. But from what I saw, from where I work and we drive around, it seemed like we definitely got further to the curbs this time, or closer to the curbs, I should say. So that's a good thing. Maybe it's people are finally getting the picture to get the cars off the road, put them on the lawn, put them wherever. Just, you know, because everywhere I saw, like, there was really with 2 to 3 feet away from the curb. Some areas a little more, but you know, it's trial and error. Everybody gets better as they go along. The next thing, the dog park. I know I sent out an email back on March 7th. I really didn't hear back from anybody except for Christine. I'm just, you know, looking to inquire still about the cost. I keep on hearing that, you know, we are moving forward with the project, and that's fine. I'm all for a dog park. I think it'd be a great asset to the town. I'm still just concerned about that location. I think there's other locations that will probably save us money if it works. Maybe it doesn't work. I just, you know, again, with being on the council 3 months and, you know, council-elect for 2 months, and then kind of just hearing about this last month, you know, you'd understand why I'm a little concerned about this, because it seems like it didn't happen overnight. There was obviously talks about this prior to us, you know, all around. You know, Gary being chair of the DPW and everything, I just want to know what task will the DPW be doing? Again, what the overall cost is going to be. Maintenance, who's going to take care of the maintenance, because there is maintenance involved in these things. And again, with Gary have built, you know, numerous dog parks with the county, and, you know, I've built numerous dog parks for my condo associations. I think it would be vital for us to work together as a team, his input, my input, and work together as a team and definitely get this done for the residents of South Plainfield. So I was just a little taken back when this came about, and that's why I fired off that email the next day, addressing my concerns. Again, and then throwing in the community pool. I know we started the work on the community pool, that fence line and everything. And I guess, you know, we're going to pick up with that once the weather gets a little bit better. Are we going to be replacing the fence at the community pool on the Maple Avenue side too, or?
Try to see. I mean, we'll probably replace, there may be some sections that we'll replace, but I think we're hoping to be able to save.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Alice today, and she's fine with removing the rest of the trees going down the whole way, because she said there's one locust that's within 2 feet away from it, you know, and it's at the stage right now, it's probably an 8-inch caliper tree. It's gonna get bigger, obviously, then it's gonna be growing into the fence again, so it's worth just removing it now, starting a new planting scheme to give us privacy going down Maple Ave for the people that do utilize the pool, going maybe Leland Cypress if she doesn't want to go with the arborvitae, I don't blame her. You know, and putting in some other shade trees as well, which I believe she still has money in her tree fund to utilize it. But the only thing is, now that we did remove all that unsightly growth, the fence does look 100 times worse than it did with the growth that was on it. So if we could look at, you know, the posts are probably good. There's no reason why the posts probably can't stay, but I think we should really look into stretching the chain link down that side.
I'll get in touch with you and Alice as well. There is a business or an entity in town that came forward, and that they're looking at a large donation as far as tree plantings and stuff like that. So we could certainly leverage that there. So whatever, if Alice does run a little low, I think we've got some cover, no pun intended, there to fill that. I think everybody should work. Regarding the dog park, I think everybody should work together with that. We did look at a lot of places. This is something that I know Rob, Councilman Benjamin knows that 2005, when we ran, we talked about this, and then, sometimes you think things are simple, and the simple things turn out to be the hardest things. I think I mentioned this at the last council meeting. It was a lot of areas seemed great, and it always became one of these things not in my backyard. So when we looked at areas like Putnam Park, which again we thought it would be a great area, it's pretty centrally located, has parking, The problem is, there's a lot of other uses there, and so, you know, I don't know, that trying to put, we looked at, you know, where it could possibly go in there, and no matter where we looked at it, you're impacting something. So whether it's just walkers, or whether people using, you know, some of the little exercise stations over there, or some of the other, you know, numerous activities that go on there, it just never felt like the right area. We looked at Veterans Park, I think we ran into issues with, you know, the fencing,
Sure.
and because of the floodplain or zone, whatever is over there. That also became a challenge. I think we looked at the old WERA property, and again, wetlands back there, same thing. We even looked at the old library property. Again, kind of same thing. It's, you know, that has its own problems, as you know, the library's not there. But we're still looking to leverage that for other things. So, yeah, it certainly didn't happen overnight. I want to say it's been continuously worked on. It's been looked at, and I think when you looked at other areas, recreational uses, where it just seemed to be improbable to have fields over at that location, that it seemed like the most beneficial use, something that the community, I think, is clearly looking for, more popular than I would have ever imagined. I mean, I just let my dog out in the backyard, and she kind of goes and runs around. Maybe I'll be going to a dog park, I don't know. But, you know, it's something that, as we walk around town, and we've been doing this for, you know, a decade, it always comes up.
Oh,
So
yeah.
without a doubt, it comes up, and so, you know, I think that if somebody's got a better alternative, you know, that we've kind of looked at, I think, every possible, you know, foreseeable area that I think could have had a dog park. There's something else
Yeah,
out
we
there.
looked at,
I mean, I probably forgot some of the ones that we looked
we
at.
looked
you know.
at Morris Avenue, we looked at the fields down on, by the Pop Warner and stuff like that. It's just everywhere you looked, it just wasn't conducive to it.
I'd like to put a dog preserve at 1111 Durham, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean,
Let them all
I
run
definitely
free.
think, I think we should really look into the Putnam Park. I think that area right there where, if you clean out that brush in there and, you know, thin that area out a little bit, you definitely have more than enough room inside there to make a dog park. And again, then you won't have to worry about parking, you know, there's a lot of other things where it's gonna save us a lot of money.
I think what it
We
still
can at
comes
least
down to.
explore it,
Yeah, no, we have, and I had no problem going out there, you know, with you, and we can take a look at it again. I mean, it's something you certainly did. In fact, even in the last buddy walk, we looked at it again, trying to figure out if it made sense there. I think there are challenges, you know, but yeah, I kind of got over them. I think they're, you know, it is a little bit, if you're going to put it inside and clear out some of those trees, I think that poses some issues. It still is a pretty far walk from the parking to where I think, you know, any viable location would be. And to me, that poses some problems, you know, I think, are some concerns. Second to that, I also look at the suburban bus company, and I think a lot of what we're going to do there anyway, we would have to do anyway. This is something, again, this was purchased by a different administration, and clearly we're not going to rehash all the issues with that. You know, hold harmless agreement, it'll cost you nothing to clean it up, there's endless, you know, supply of grants available, don't worry about it, whatever.
I thought.
But I think we're still going to have to reseed that, level it out. And I think if you don't put that something there, what you're going to have is just overflow parking for Ponytail, which this is also going to serve that purpose as well. So it kind of serves a dual function, alleviating some of the parking that's in the neighborhood over there. And, you know,
They need it.
they do need
Yeah,
it, of
and I
course.
don't know if you spoke with Kevin Hughes, but I haven't.
Yeah.
They really
They have
would
no
love that
parking there.
overflow parking
Oh,
and,
yeah.
you know, so they were happy with that.
That's why I said they could literally utilize that entire area as a parking. They don't have no parking for, you know, the softball league over there. So they park on every street in that whole area, both sides of the road. And, you know, God forbid there was ever a fire or anything
Right.
like that. It's definitely not gonna be something where fire engines are gonna really fit through
Right.
without having problems. I mean, again, do we have any idea of what the cost is for doing it at the bus company site yet? or-
Well, I was gonna, you know, address that
Okay.
when I came to my comments. I mean, we're working on it now. We should have better figures next month. But definitely, you know, we did get the fencing. The stone dust is very inexpensive. You know,
Yeah, and I just think you gotta, separate the true costs of what the dog park would be versus what we would do anyway.
Sure.
And we're not gonna leave that
No,
as it is. I mean, we've heard.
The sites can't stay the way
Yeah,
it is.
exactly.
So definitely,
Right.
something needs to be done with it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Just to address, because I know you commented that nobody responded to your email.
Okay.
I mean, that was an email asking for input and stuff to the entire mayor and council, which I didn't feel comfortable responding to. So I asked our attorney, should I even respond to that? He said no, because once that, I guess you can explain.
Yeah, to be clear, there's nothing wrong with circulating information as you get an email, but don't invite a conversation. It just risks running afoul of Open Public Meetings Act. Even if, electronic communication, you start to get one, even if it's one-on-one, and that one-on goes to another one, and so I've always
That's why I didn't.
advised and advocated that nothing wrong with circulating information, but it's not something to be discussed, just discuss what you're doing here now.
Yeah, and I reached out to Councilwoman Faustini, she was gonna reach
Yeah,
out to you as well, so I didn't feel that.
Just as a point person, just having her let you know.
Anything else?
That's all.
All right, Council.
Oh, okay.
Well, yes, DPW did a great job with the snow removal, but now I do want to move on and say happy first day of spring. And looking, but looking forward to spring and being involved in recreation. There will be a lot happening. I think the flyer for the Easter egg hunt came out today. That will be April 15th, 2 p.m., ages 1 through 10 at the PAL. And baseball opening days and softball opening days will be happening, I believe, April 8th, but I will confirm with Kevin Hughes. He's away.
Yeah, it's a tentative schedule, so
It's definitely going to be
They
April 8th.
pushed it back 1 week, right?
Yeah, they pushed it back a week. I know there will be a town cleanup as well,
Yeah,
right? April
15th
15th in the morning. And then my next rec meeting, I've not been able to attend more than one still. We had another cancellation due to the spring snowstorm. So the next meeting will be Thursday, but I have been in close contact with Kevin Hughes over a few things going forward. He's putting together pricing for the lighting at the turf field. So that's going to be coming forward. For several years now, there have been requests for a new wrestling match in the room for the wrestlers. The ones we have are just worn. So we're going to look at that and he has quotes for that. We're going to look at the cost of that. And the dog park, the costs of that are being worked on. I want to move forward and as quickly as possible, but not without examining everything thoroughly and making sure we know all the costs going in. Looking at everything, and I welcome input from everybody on the council about that. Anybody who has experience with that, I'm happy at any time to hear everybody's ideas and input. And the figures for recreation, we do want to probably go forward with an ordinance sometime in April to get some money towards the lighting and the mats and other things in that area. And then progress.
Thank you. Councilman Ben-Schrader.
Pardon, Mayor.
Councilman Best.
Yes, Mayor, not to belabor the point that Glenn and Len and Councilwoman Faustini and Councilman Dean said about the snowstorm. I think they did an excellent job. I only had a few complaints, and it's the same old thing, you plowed in my driveway.
Right.
And my driveway was snow blowed, and when I woke up the next morning, it was plowed in. So, it's just part of the nature of the beast. Each storm is unique. It has different elements to it. Again, like John said, I would have rather had the 30 inches of snow than the 8 inches of snow with the 4 inches of ice on top. And we had a few issues, and we overcame them. And by the next day, we were good. So with that, and just to get back to the dog park, had I known about it, I certainly will give you any information that I can, that I can.
Thank you.
I was not aware of it. At the council meeting was the first night I heard about it, but I have put a few together, and
I didn't know that, so thank you.
We certainly can give you
Okay,
some kind of insight.
terrific.
and with that progress.
Yeah, I know Council President and, Mr. Cullen and I were out, not checking up on Mr. Miller, but just out surveying. I think one of the best, I don't know, Gary, if you guys saw it as well, and John, you do a lot of, I guess, commercial properties, but it really was like a ghost town.
Yeah.
I mean, people did heed the warning, OEM, stuff like that, the same thing. That we were out and we were kind of surprised that it really was just nobody out there. So that certainly did help. And some of the areas where we had complaints before called and they were singing the praises of DPW. So that's certainly good to hear. And I think you're right. There were a couple of the same kind of complaints, and I don't think these guys do it. I don't have any experience snow plowing, but I can imagine you turn a corner, you go down somebody's street. We're trying to get close to the curbs, as you mentioned. I think some of the complaints that you had from some residents is that they had done their, sidewalk, and lo and behold, somebody, a plow came through and, covered up the sidewalk. No different than what,
Place to put it.
yeah, no different than what I experienced, and you're absolutely right, same thing on the driveway. I unfortunately waited, usually kind of wait as long as you can. Well, this stuff, it's certainly a bad move. So it was certainly difficult to move that. I did see, surprisingly, there was a lot of kids out there that were either carrying shovels or stuff like that. So, yeah, more than I've seen. And I actually had a couple of, residents call and, believe it or not, some of them, wouldn't take money. So I don't know who these kids are, but let's send them by my neighborhood. And I think the one lady was telling me that she finally forced, $10 on each kid. So they were going somewhere. I think they were probably on their way, and she had stopped them, asked them if they could help. I don't know how much work they actually did, but so it's good to hear a lot of good feedback that we're getting from residents. And I know, I think in the years past, we've had those the groups where we could send Debbie to you, to some of the young kids in town to do that. This storm, we really didn't need that, or I would have been in contact with you. But so good things all over. So good to hear. Councilman Wolnick.
Chief Scalero wanted me to remind everybody that we're going to have the wet down on June 24th and the fire truck dedication. Everything moving forward with the new fire truck, and they should be. I'm not sure if they're there now. They should be going down to Florida this week to do a final inspection of the fire truck. So that's good news. There's going to be a fire burn at the Somerset Fire Academy April 8th. And Ed LaFleur wanted me to mention that he was able to put the plow on his utility truck and able to do 6 assists to plow out the driveway so that they can get an ambulance in there for 6 calls. So he wanted me to mention that. I think he's very happy that he's able to put the plow on the truck. And with that, progress.
Thank you. Council President White.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just one quick thing. I wanted to thank everyone who put together and attended the Taste of South Plainfield. It was really nice. We got a little late start on recognizing the businesses, and it was really nice to see everyone stayed around to see the recognition for the various businesses and things like that. And at that point, then people started to leave and go their separate ways, but they all hung around until all the awards were given out. And I thought that was really a testament to the partnership between the business community and our community at large. So, job well done. It was a very enjoyable evening and well attended. So, thank you, Mayor. Progress.
Okay, just one additional personal item for me. I'd like to thank our fire department, police department, and public service electric and gas. Those of you who get the call outs from the fire department may have recognized a familiar address Friday night. It would have been mine. We went out to the movies, the family and I, and some friends of the boys, and when we came back, there was a smell of gas, not too heavy to smell of gas, but heavy enough. And so doing the proper thing, we did call 911. And Chief, I think, said police department on the scene right away. Fire department shortly thereafter, and then right after that, PSC&G. So long story short, everybody out on, it wasn't too cold of a day. All of us out on the front lawn, on the sidewalk with the little Beagle. And PSC&G did their work. Fire department was in there. And at first they thought there was just a problem with the gas, I don't know, thing, meter, whatever you want to call it, inside. Regulator, I don't know. They gave some technical term. I wasn't paying too much attention to that. They said they were going to fix it, so that was fine. Actually, when it turned out PSE&G was inside, we used to have a propane or a gas heater going out for a pool, and that was taken out a couple of years ago, and thought, I guess, to be properly turned off. Which I think it was. It was turned off at the unit, cut off, but the pipe somehow under a crawl space or something sprung a little bit of a leak. So as they went and changed the parts out, the PSE&G technician who lives in South Plainfield, I mean, most of you guys will probably know him. He shows up on most of the scenes, Ed, and so he noticed a faint hiss of gas still coming out, and did cap that line off. And so thank your lucky stars, you never know what happens. You use some little things, but if you're going to have a leak, I think it's perfect timing, where everybody was around and nothing that turned into a disaster. So, Chief, thanks. Kenny was there, and the fire department. I know we know all the guys, but they're still ultra professional. I told them to relax. Everything's fine. Thank you for the job, well done. But I just want to publicly thank them. Some of us, we've gone out on calls and we see kind of what that's done. And you're used to standing on somebody else's front lawn or somebody else's driveway and kind of chatting with them. So it's a little bit different when it's your own, but thankfully nothing too serious. So, again, job well done, everybody, and my sincerest, congratulations and just thoughts for a job well done. So, just want to open up for public comments. Anything on your mind? Thanks, Suzanne.
Suzanne Lee, Port Bullard Place. I just wanted to publicly thank all of the participants in this year's talent showcase. We had some great entertainment, including a little magician who was absolutely adorable. And thank you for anyone who was able to attend. I hope everyone left really loving the show. So
we did have a former councilman in the show, right? So.
You did have a former councilman in the show, but maybe next year we'll actually have current councilman. We're trying. It's a long preparation for our act. But anyway, that's it.
Thank you. Good. Yes.
I'm Jenny O'Brien, and I wanted to talk with Mayor and Council. I've been reading the newspaper of The Observer, the local one. For the last 3 weeks, I have seen one story in each of them, and I'm very concerned about what's happening.
Okay.
I don't think it's safe for the residents of our town. I understand it's throughout New Jersey, but I'm looking at just South Plainfield. We have 3 cases here that those men were turned back into the street.
You're talking about bail reform?
And for how long?
You're talking about bail reform? Is that what you're referring to, the changes to bail reform? Yeah.
I wonder if the mayor and the council could work on having that reversed back.
I would love to be involved in any effort. I think the police department has expressed their dissatisfaction. I know in one of those, at least probably both of those newspapers, I've expressed my dissatisfaction with one of the more high-profile cases. This is something I think most people probably don't even recognize. Maybe you didn't even necessarily realize it was a ballot question. I think it was 2014. Yeah. 2014. I have to go back. I mean, I've talked to a number of residents. They say that the wording of that was a little, suspect. They thought it was actually going to strengthen, the bail system. And in reality, I think it's kind of made a joke of it. And again, I don't know what you have to do. I know you get there's some kind of magical score that when you get arrested, or you're going for, I guess we still call it a bail hearing, even though nobody gets it. They give you this, point system or whatever, and I guess if you score high enough, you get bail, and if not, you're kind of freed up. Some of the cases that you're referring to, especially one I know of, clearly I don't know how you don't score high enough to deem bail. There's been plenty of cases, I think, that as you're talking about the ones here, but also throughout the state, like you mentioned, where somebody's let out and then, probably hours later, days later, they're back, breaking into somebody else's house. it's tough for some of the towns to try and coordinate and connect all the dots. But then there's also been instances where, so that's where I think you've got some impact on the residents, not only of South Plainfield, but throughout the state. And then kind of in the same vein, but more to the, individual's problem, where you have a lot of drug offenses here, and where in certain instances they probably would have been, in jail, they would have been out on bail, they might not have been able to post that bail, and they might have gotten the treatment that they need, and unfortunately they didn't, and we've seen some instances where they then overdosed and caused problems. So, yes, the council has any, I know we can certainly do a resolution, in support of overturning that. I'd like to do something stronger than that. So I think we can certainly see, but...
I wonder how much crime there has been just in the state of New Jersey where this new law is. It's only us.
There's like 4 or 5 other states that have this law. That we mirrored, when we went on the ballot, they mirrored, I think, Colorado and a few states.
There are other states?
Yeah.
That do a certain system.
Same kind of system, but it just doesn't work here.
I think what this comes back to is that there was, I think, several, well, maybe at least a couple of high-profile cases where an individual was arrested, couldn't, didn't have the means to post bail, ended up losing their job, and then ended up, being found, not guilty of whatever the offense was. So I think that was the intention behind there, to make, to try and alleviate some of those things, but clearly not working the way that I think those who envisioned it would work. It's certainly not working that way. So, yeah, I support anything we can do to certainly.
If the real criminals catch on to what's happening.
I think they have.
You're going to see a lot more of it.
I think they have.
You're going to see a lot more happen.
Well, Paul, do you know what would it take to overrule or override
That's what I want.
public ballot? What would even, I don't know if that's ever happened.
Second public
Yeah.
ballot.
Which would have to be 2 years, it would have to be 2 years after it's enacted.
What would it take?
A second public ballot.
Your petition.
It was in place for 2 years.
Yeah, you have to wait 2
It was
years.
in place for 2 years, and then
How about a
potentially-
petition if everybody were to sign it? Would that work out any better?
maybe after the 2 years.
Can't hurt, right? But I think you.
You have to wait a certain,
It's still a long process.
yeah, I think you have to wait a certain amount of time before you can start getting the signatures, put it on the ballot. There's a certain time period you have to wait, but I guess we can look, I can call some people I know that legislative offices that.
Meanwhile, the safety of the people isn't there.
Yeah, I know, it's unbelievable, it really is.
Mhm. This has hit Florida, because my daughter lives down in Florida. She heard more on her newscast than we knew.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. So clearly, the question in front of the voters wasn't clearly specific to this scoring system, right? I mean, certainly they didn't get into detail of what. So, I mean, maybe it's possible that, there could be some work done to the scoring system, where the scoring system is improved a little bit, and you're starting to see that some of these cases where people probably shouldn't get out, do. So, I mean, maybe there is some interim work that can be done. I don't know what the mechanics are, but, we can certainly reach out to, the councilman said, some legislative contacts. See if there's anybody in the state Senate, state assembly that's looking to do something.
See if they're even talking about it. I don't even hear about them talking about it. It's really a shame.
Nothing's being said, really.
No.
It's just like, well, that's the way the law is, that's the way they voted for it.
Yeah. So we share your concerns, but we'll see what we can do. All right.
Would you keep me informed?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Ms. Boyle?
Debbie Boyle-Vansky. Again, thank you for everybody that came out to the taste. It was a packed house. Thank you to Mayor Anash and Council President White for handing out the pins and the proclamations. Besides the 23 businesses, we had 17 restaurants who also came out, a lot of new ones, which was really good to see, so people could try their food and see what they're about. And thank you to the council people that also came out. On March 23rd, the South Plainfield Business Association meeting is at Sherburne's at 8:30. On March 25th, the Education Foundation is trying to do a Top Golf event rather than the golf outing that they always have every year. There is a quota that has to be met, and so stay tuned if anybody was planning on going to that, because that quota has to be met first.
Okay.
And they're having a slight hard time trying to
If
get
they
that.
push it several hours back, I would love to go. Fortunately, we're kind of tied up in the morning.
I know. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, if it doesn't work this time, they'll try to redo it.
Okay.
Also on March 28th, as everybody mentioned, is the referendum vote from the postponement. Also, thank you to Len Miller, DPW, and the police department for all the alerts, Mayor, for your alerts, and for the great job. Also to Glenn Cohen. There is a dog park that's in Community Park in North Brunswick. I don't know if anybody has a chance to Google that. We played ball there, high school ball, for numerous years, including softball. And the dog park is in one end and all the fields are in the other. It's really, I mean, it's a huge park,
Right.
but if anybody want to take a look at the way they have theirs set up and maybe their costs, for what it costs them to do that.
I did see that one.
Did you
It
see
was
that?
great, yes.
It's really nice.
Yeah, and I like the way it's apart from.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked it very much.
I mean, it's still when you go into the
It's
park,
there,
but it's
right.
separate, it's
Mhm.
separated out. So if
Yeah.
anybody wanted to Google that
Very good.
and find that information. Last night was the 3rd anniversary of the Saidati Pitham. They've been here 3 years. Councilman President White and I were invited to go to that. We've been a part of that community. I didn't know who else was invited, but we've been a part of that community since
Yes,
inception.
definitely.
And it was packed, and there was a lot of singing and dancing and playing of musical instruments. It was really nice. And again, they would consider doing some kind of a dancing event at the library. I asked them to reach out to Linda Hansen or to Darlene Cohen. And then on April 23rd is the Tin Sprint, which Mayor Sloan was part of. That's the second annual Tin Sprint. That's the high school DECA group, the business group at the high school. And that's in the morning. I'm not sure the exact time. I think it was like 9 a.m. But, and then there's the mud run at Riley School. I don't have the date for that, but a lot of upcoming events. Hopefully spring hurries up to get here.
It's here.
It's here, but hopefully it stays. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public portion. So I know just one other item before we go into executive session. By the way, you are more than welcome to stay and enjoy. Well, we don't have the amenities out tonight, but you're welcome to stay. Just congratulate. It is, I think, Councilman White and I, or Council President White and I, were at Phil Aquilina's mother's 100th birthday. So very vibrant woman who was very sharp. So it was a fun afternoon. So congratulations to Phil and his mom. Did I say his wife? His mom. His mom. Thank you.
His wife.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Actually, you never left. Yes. As a result of tonight's executive session, we do have two resolutions to add. Resolution 147, authorizing the tax assessor to file and settle tax appeals at the county board. And Resolution 148, authorizing the borough tax assessor to file an appeal of the tax assessment for the property known as Block 525.01, Lot 1 for the tax year 2017. Can I get a motion to add resolutions 147 and 148 to tonight's meeting?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Councilman Dean, seconded by Council President White. Amy, can you call the roll on 147 and 148?
Yes, Councilman Benjamini?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President White?
Yes.
That's a 6-0.
Okay, at this point we will open it up for additional public comments. Seeing none. Do you have anything, Mr. Senator? Seeing none, close the public portion. Can I get a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
So
We are adjourned. Have a good evening, everyone.